Hello internet, hello War of the Visions fans, I'm Jackie Fox. What's up y'all? Don't usually show my mug in these videos, but here I am. Didn't know what to do with the hair, so just kind of threw it up. It won't make much of an issue out of this video. And welcome to Pride Month. First and foremost, got me some Pride merch at a local event. Man, they were really doing t-shirts cheap, but it was all a donation, all went to a good cause. I even gave them a pretty nice little tip, a little payment for an extra shirt that it was on me. So today I want to read some comments because, man, I think in part because there's probably been a lot of new players or a lot of returning players or a lot of just excited players by, you know, getting the opportunity to play as a Cloud and mostly really Sephiroth, I think, and being able to cover that has really given me a bump in the comments, a bump in the engagements. I've started asking for comments at the end of videos more. I guess maybe you're watching to the end of videos more, hearing that plea and putting your thoughts in the comment section. My last video was actually kind of based on a Pikachu comment, so it was cool to get another one after posting that said, "Yay, thank you for making this video. I hope it encourages others to leave their comments and opinions." It was interesting to see how Sephiroth teams have changed in JP, especially the Ashenmont, Bradley, and Sephiroth team, as that is what I planned on running. And it's still strong, and I would say it's definitely good on offense, but on defense it might, again, that felt like the weakest part in the how to beat Sephiroth part, because some of their strengths lined up and could be easily negated. But I also really appreciate how to beat Sephiroth section, is something like that is really slept on, and I understand why, because it's difficult to create. And you're right, and sometimes, like, this game is complex, sometimes it can come down to some really weird things. And the map can be one of those things, so sometimes the advice that you give on one map isn't quite the same as it is on another, but it's, I think you're in a good position to do that because you already crunched the numbers on what teams do and don't work, and that definitely helped. But and seeing the synergies there, like, it helped me know what kind of strategies, what kind of characters I needed to counter. So anyways, thank you so much, Pikachu. And then a comment from Ready Player Will. I complimented this guy on being probably the best data jeez. Come on, talk like you write books. Being the best data analyst in War of the Visions. And Fox, what the fuck? How am I finally seeing this channel in my algorithm? This video is exceptional, dude. Really like the way you approach it and strung together your visuals and storytelling. Thank you so much for that. It really, coming from one of the best channels for this type of stuff, and especially for like this type of analysis, this kind of depth, just biggest compliment I could have gotten in the world. But also the biggest Sephiroth fan that I've met online. Love me. Thank God I got him second pull. If I didn't pity, I might say goodbye to wotv. Yeah, so I went with the 8th step first when I was pulling him, and it's really the best way to go in a lot of ways, because even if you do end up pulling him or pitying him, there's still a lot of value in doing the 8th step to build him. It's kind of something you want to do either way. But with units like this, they have that 20 pull pity that's built into the vanilla banner. So I went all the way through the 8 steps, didn't get him, and got up to 85%. Which means that, hold on, let me crunch the numbers here, because it's like 6,500 to 13. And then one of the pulls was free, thankfully. So that would be another 16 pulls, so 32. So I ended up spending 45,000 to get this guy. And I guess that could have topped out at 51,000, which is a lot more than I usually talk about for pitying. But again, you really want to do the 8th step with these characters and just kind of hope you get it. Because you also don't want to do the hard pity. The hard pity on the vanilla banner is the only thing you have for these, but it's also not appealing. You actually want to pull the character because you don't want to spend those coins. If you do have to spend those coins, you can say goodbye to upwards of 200 shards. And since a lot of the currencies that I talk about in, especially my Bells video, since those currencies don't apply to units, getting them to level 99, you know, you really have to rely on soul stars and your viz. That's tough. Hybrid, much love, Foxy. Always love your content. I'll be hitting you up for an autographed copy of your book. Cheers, friend. Oh man, we have to have a talk about international shipping, by the way. A lot more expensive than I thought it was, but if you still want an autographed copy, then I'll make it happen for you. Thank you for your support. Okay, hopefully that's the end of that car alarm. Derp Frog. I came to level up and maybe get a shiny helmet, not be passively lectured on religion and God. Big Boot FF. Sayonara. This guy, on one of my old Moogle philosophy videos, and this is actually one that I've been thinking about lately. I think I posted about this one. And I actually re-listened to this one recently, and it is when you get into the subtext of it, it is not a fan of Christianity or Europeans in general in the way that the philosophy of the story relates to probably large sections of my audience. But if anyone isn't familiar with Derp Frog, this person's been commenting on my videos for months now. They've actually showed up in a couple of these comment response videos. Their comments are always negative and kind of funny, but also like there's a combination of understanding and dismissal. Like, this is some sort of a fan that now is a negative fan. It's weird. I don't understand you, Derp Frog. Please comment your life story on one of my posts. I'm really curious what's going on. You can literally buy level 99 Xiza for 500 viz. No need to farm bells. Oh, dude, really? Okay, that's pretty awesome. So is that a new player thing? Because as long as Bells has been like, also this video isn't out yet. Look, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting comments on videos before they're released. So that's actually really cool. And wait, well, I guess, oh, so Jeffrey Hates YouTube here figured out my entire video. Yes, you should get her to 120 to farm spheres. Absolutely. But even getting her past 99, not only are you farming spears, but also rainbow medals. And that's what I mean by alternate currencies. It's funny, this guy's figured out my whole video and it hasn't even been released yet. What am I liking my comment? What's going on? Water Dog, people who read this, good luck in grinding arena on my Focal video from way back when. And yeah, by the way, I'd really be curious. I've gotten several of my focus to 140. I've gotten, I think, most of them to max reincarnation. I'm starting to work on a weapon now. I'm curious how everybody else has been doing. Maybe people haven't been competing as much or don't compete as consistently. Or maybe the people, like, if you were doing the one battle a week for the 20 medals at the end of the week kind of thing, like, where are you at? I'm also curious about that. Steven JJ400 or 400? Yeah, those are O's. Mont is very strong individually, but June Comp is stronger because of Greatsword teammates. One more new strong Earth or Sword Knight will definitely help change that. Yeah, absolutely. That's really my biggest complaint with Mont, is that because of the unit pool for both Earth and Knight, despite like the feeling that he's probably the stronger character, and it's hard to say for certain, right? Because none of these things exist in a vacuum. I have to see the performance to know he's better, is what I'm saying. But I think absolutely, like, changing the unit pool for either of those two, one new unit could really blow things up. Because, I mean, if suddenly King Bradley is the worst unit on your team, you're doing something very good, I think. So definitely good comment there. Oh, also, here's the Pikachu comment that started the last video. New to the game, are we getting another Summer Glaciella banner this year? Yes, we should be. For some reason, the summer collaboration or the summer event always tends to run really late, like running on early fall. And this is weird. And this isn't even that it's on time in Japan and then hitting us late. Although, no, Japan's in the same hemisphere. They have seasons the same time as us, right? So, in the US. So, like, it should line up with our summer. It just never really does. So that's going to be later in the summer. But yeah, she should be coming back. I forget because I don't tend to pay attention. She's really one of the first super good seasonal units. Seasonal units tend to be low-powered experiments with, like, new job classes often. And they don't often tend to be that exciting. She's the first one that's been really good. But I think it's become more standard to rerun banners for newer units. Maybe? Really, I'm sorry, not rerun banners, but rerun challenge boards. And this is a big deal. Since you're new to the game, pulling a unit on banner and being able to complete its challenge board is going to give you a lot of resources. But perhaps most importantly, 120 free shards just for getting them up to level 75 and a couple other things. In addition to a bunch of the other resources that you need to build them. It can be a real hit on your resources to pull a unit and not have that, and try to build them on a limited schedule. So, if Summer Glaciella doesn't get a challenge board despite her being really good, I would highly encourage people not to pull for her, to instead pull for something that has a challenge board, because this is ultimately for me like the real deciding factor in whether or not older limited units are worth pulling for. Like, can you get that challenge board bonus? That's going to be a big deal. And again, I think like recently they've gotten better about rerunning these for those type of like seasonal kind of collaboration things. But I haven't seen Summer Glaciella rerun yet, so it's still kind of up in the air whether they'll do this, what trend they'll follow here. Hopefully they will, though, because I would really love to recommend her, and usually when these rerun banners happen, I don't recommend the older units. I recommend you get the newest thing because it's best suited for the meta we have now. But Summer Glaciella is just really great. Like, it's really hard to argue with her meta positioning, especially when you consider the amount of teams that she'll be able to fit into with her red mage status. And, you know, we don't talk about it much, and they're doing kind of bad overall. But, like, a new glove unit could really help this out as well, because, again, red mage does have a really strong affinity for glove as well. It's just that there aren't great glove units to warrant, like, inclusion in your red mage team. I'm seeing Ashenmont A2 in Cloud, and it's destroying everything. Any ideas? Well, this is kind of difficult, but this is also, in a lot of ways, a team that One Wing Sephiroth is kind of here to deal with. Like, before he was released, a team like this would have been pretty unsufferable. Even though it's a little bit all over the place, and that there's, you know, you at least have a greatsword strat synergy here, but there isn't a strong greatsword and knight synergy. So, like, realistically, when I fight a team like this, I'm not as concerned with Ashenmont as I would be otherwise, because I feel like the vision card power is really pumping up Cloud and A2. They're going to be dangerous, but Ashe and Mont may not be the thing that I'm most concerned with in this team. That being said, Ashe and Mont's threshold heal combined with just, since he's the only sword unit on this team, you can almost guarantee they're running Blood Sword on him. So there's passive healing there. Also, A2 with her, I think it's like Rend and Repair, gives 2 heals. So there's a lot of ways for at least 2 units of this team to heal. So using One Wing Sephiroth, a thing that I like to do, and maybe this isn't the best thing, and it has its drawbacks, but this is the strategy that I'm going with him. I'm not using the enhanced mobility and agility passive from his main job. Instead, I'm using self-sacrifice. This is giving me a massive attack boost. It's also allowing me to run his aim variant sword because I don't have to rely on getting the attack from the sword. I have a huge attack boost off of my base attack, which the sword stats don't modify anyways. Which allows me to make him also a more accurate Sephiroth. But having him be a little bit slower and having him kind of take some of his times buffing, this means that the enemy groups, especially if you have like good tank placement, unfortunately the maps right now aren't great for this. If you can get people to group up in the center platform of the map that we're on right now though, Sephiroth coming onto the field later will enable him to hit multiple of these characters and potentially turn off their healing. Now they are all physical characters, so there's only like a 60% chance of Curse hitting. There's definitely a chance that it won't hit A2, there's definitely a chance that it won't hit Ashe and Mont. But this can be really helpful against a team like that. Other than that, as I pointed out, AP denial tends to be pretty helpful with Ashe and Mont. But again, I think Ashe and Mont is probably the weak unit on this team in a lot of ways because he just doesn't have synergies with the rest of the team. So maybe trying too hard to counter the Ashe and Mont on this team is actually a little bit of a red herring. But yeah, this team is really powerful and it's something that we're going to see definitely be one of the best teams for a while, but I also think that it's going to get competition quite quickly. I know I mispronounced that because I tried to. Why do you say Greatsword does not have good synergy with Red Mage? A2 and Cloud's VC are superb and really only an Agility VC is missing, but Dark Xiza could cover that case in a comp with June, Gilgamesh, and Glacy. So yeah, actually, wait, why haven't I liked this? I loved this comment, why didn't I like it? You're absolutely right. This covers the main slots for them. And if your sub VCs are the only ones that are like suboptimal, that's not too bad. And since you're really covering those 3 main bases, because I forget which one's which, but between Cloud and A2 you get the area attack resistance and unit attack resistance, which are basically the trinity with agility that you want from your main VCs. This is actually pretty good. That being said, it's not really that flexible. You really only have these 3 cards and you're building from there. Another difference is going to be that, you know, you have a lot more options with the other stuff, and also the 2 cards that you're mentioning here are incredibly limited. I think also both hollow VCs, so this is going to be a real pain in the butt for most people to have. But with that being said, in theory, if people have been pulling hard recently or gotten really lucky with limited vision cards, yeah, this could be pretty good. But it's not quite optimal, and one of the things that I'm really going for in these videos is trying to figure out what is beating everybody and what is doing best, not what's kind of in there amongst it. TJ Kuro says, what if stats can't differentiate between main teams and sub-teams being used, so their stats get clumped together? This is in relation to someone scoring 11 points on offense that I noticed in my Winged God Gilgamesh video. This does seem to be the way that it's working, and it's kind of unfortunate. I haven't run into a time, And I don't want to just like look through every day to try to find the days that I had a sub team available. But next time I have a sub team available, I'm gonna try to check my wotv stats for that day and see what happens. I hope I get good pulls and maybe save for him. Yes, so Gilgamesh is going to be really good with Sephiroth. One of the star teams that I see that I've highlighted in my last two like showcase style videos has been the two of these with Summer Glaciella. This is also probably one of the reasons why people are like really curious about Summer Glaciella as well. Oh, Steven again. I created a new account. It's a lot easier now. Chose light main and water second. Better now that Cloud and Kadaj are out. I picked Dark Bahamut and Bahamut VC, and then chose some Job VC for Cloud and Sephiroth. So, like a Great Sword Katana VC. That sounds like a pretty good combination there. Like, I dig it. You're definitely leaning a lot harder on light, but you are choosing light main. Hopefully there'll still be a lot of, you know, like there's historically been a lot of free light units. I hope there are more of them to kind of build that out. Water is definitely in its element right now and doing better than I think it's ever done. So those seem like really good choices for the current meta, especially if you're getting Cloud and Kadaj. Now, I don't know if it's been my coverage of Kadaj because not a lot of people have seen it, but it feels like, at least playing through Arena, Kadaj is more popular than the data I saw for JP seemed to indicate. So maybe we're, with the hindsight, we're able to more properly evaluate that this is a really good character. And Cloud, of course, is very good as well, and will be quite strong into like a future Magic meta, and that, you know, Gilgamesh, I've also seen a Gilgamesh Howlet Red Mage team that is very powerful and very magically oriented. Cloud's going to be amazing into that, especially, and I got to assume you got Joom here. That was like the one gimme of this video, is get Joom. So you definitely have a pretty amazing team there. Really good start. Viral in Zona Gringa, I think. Close, maybe? I'm returning to the game with A2 and Cloud, but I haven't got Joom. My question is, if I don't have regular Odin nor Dark Bahamut, those are my favorite two physical espers. I could be an idiot, but I'm still using the original regular Odin. He is a more accuracy-oriented, all-around physical esper. I just think he's one of the best. I have Dark Xiza. Should I max it now with tokens available next month? I have Howlet A2 working now. Cloud isn't built yet. Thanks. So Dark Xiza is going to be more magically oriented, but the agility boost is going to be pretty huge for ice and for water. Also, as long as you have one magic unit on your team, you'll be able to slot this into your first slot. This can be your agility card. Let's back up to a previous comment, right? As someone was talking about the A2 vision card as well as Cloud's vision card. So if you have the two of those and you have Dark Xiza, like they were suggesting, this is actually the perfect team for that. This is great. They were suggesting Summer Glaciella, but I can see this too. Another unit that would work into this team and would also be a potential carrier for Dark Xiza would be Gilgamesh as well. But also, I recommend Dark Bahamut most, especially, and even Odin to a certain degree. Odin can specialize into Slash, but I don't usually build him that way. I try to keep him more general. It's because for non-Slash and to a lesser degree magic damage types, there aren't as many espers that support them. But espers that can be built for high slash damage are a dime a dozen. You'll find tons of other espers for Cloud and A2. What you really want Dark Bahamut for is like your strike units, your pierce units, your missile units, things like that, that really are so much less likely to have an esper that natively boosts their damage type. Let's go ahead like that. Love that comment. Oh, this is fun. I don't know how many people saw this. So, This is while I was looking through the data for Gilgamesh. I don't think I ended up including all of these teams. I just found some really weird stuff. 6 defends though. 6. And there's two people using this team. Between these 6 units, between 2 players, got 12 defends. How is that even possible? But it gets better. It gets better, fam. Because I looked at that team and I said, you know what? I bet you I can guess their vision cards. So, what we probably have is Chaos Xiza, as we were just talking about, or Dark Xiza. The new VC Chariot. Between these two, you have you have your 2 agility cards for this entire team. Red Mage AoE resistance cards. There's actually 5 of these. So you could go with the ones that give you slightly more AoE resistance, but maybe have lesser other stats, or you could focus on less AoE resistance, or some combination. Look, there's a lot of options here, and you can kind of mix and match these depending on whether you want physical cards or whether you want magical cards. It's up to you. Red Mage is actually really flexible in this respect, if nothing else. And then you have Chaos Odin, Dark Odin, and either Between Hope and Despair, which is a hollow VC that I think that was released for Lucio, the Shimmering Brilliance or whatever, or the new Advent Children vision card that will also fill in that last slot pretty well. If you find it difficult to maybe pull for that card, I think Chariot's going to be easier to pull for, since that's something you're also going to have to plan for if you're looking for this team. I would prioritize that over Advent Children though, especially because I really like the AoE resistance penetration that the Esper offers for magic units. So I think getting that in combination, but also not having to pay the premium for a hollow VC, really great combination here. Oh, Thomas Patton here. This is fun. I'd consider Bronwell for her TMR. And yes. So Bronwell's TMR, I included this in the thumbnail of the Bells video, but I never actually explained it in the Bells video because I didn't have Bronwell. I think I might have actually looked for it. But this is going to be one of the like staple type haste on TMR. That is the thing that you generally want 1 or 2 of right now. That's what everybody's running on their PvP teams. And if you're a new player, that is absolutely an amazing selling point to Bronwell that I did not think about for this video. It's a great TMR. Consider running it, absolutely. Keyboard Bunny, also financial independence talk, end up agreeing on this point. How come your voiceover doesn't match what you're showing? Too many names flying around for new players if the voiceover doesn't match, probably. Not sure, just thinking. So, Keyboard Bunny. What happened here was I recorded me just doing my best before actually even spreadsheeting this all out. I kind of went with my gut, rolled on what was appealing to me, and then I planned out the paths. So the footage I recorded didn't end up matching up with any of them. And given that it's 8 paths, for everything to line up perfectly, I would either have to reuse the same footage 8 times, which, in addition to being a lot of editing, seemed annoying. It also seemed like it'd be really repetitive. So I just kind of went through the full process, knowing that there were going to be little parts in there that might explain things that I didn't mention. And in doing it that way, I actually went back through the footage and found the thing about the select tickets for the, was it like 90 cost or lower units? And that was really helpful for the guide. I thought that was a big deal. But like ultimately it just came down to the amount of effort that it would be to cut it around like that. If you had a different idea, I think maybe what you might have been expecting is for me to have recorded the voiceover live while I was doing the gameplay so that it matched up. That just wasn't the way the chronology worked out here. That wasn't the way I did it. So maybe that's poor planning on my part. I don't know. Maybe I'll think about how to better align these things in the future. Douglas Fushigi 2002. Show us the set cards and gear as well, man. Oh yeah, because I was posting some of the teams. So here's the unfortunate thing about wotv stats, and I'm not entirely sure how they would do it, because what you're seeing here is an aggregate anyways. It's multiple teams averaged together to get the stats. I guess they could show you what cards, what gear on average are on that team, maybe? But hey, this seems like a relatively simple but well executed project, and maybe that's too complex, I don't know. But the thing is, wotv stats just doesn't show that data. Even though they do record individual team data, they could put it there, but it could also be that it's not properly recorded in the data stream that they're basically sampling to get this data out here. I mean, there's a couple things that could be going on here, but unfortunately, I just don't have access to that detail. Also, since I'm covering these things before they come out, and I don't really have access to JP, then what am I supposed to do about that? Damn, you ate this vid. Thank you so much. I've been playing around getting ready for Sephiroth. Thanks so much, from Xiza on the reroll guide. And this ended up actually being like, they ended up getting advice on their particular pull path, and that leads all the way to my oops, all comment responses videos this week. So Xiza was actually the one that asked me about bells. Although I think I included that. Yeah, no, I included this comment in the video. They're both obviously. So, thank you so, also, wait, this video, I mean this comment, and some of the other comments from like, here's what new players are getting, just hearing like all these tiny little pieces of the overall package that new players are getting, it was really, a lot of things remind me of this old Buddhist koan where a teacher blindfolds his students and introduces them to an elephant, and they're to identify the animal based on their sense of touch. And they all have crazy wild ideas about what this thing is, because they're all getting a very small piece of the picture. So by the time I got this comment, I said to myself, the only way I'm going to really be able to know what new players are getting is to play through the new player experience myself. So I did that. And I took notes on my experience, I built up a spreadsheet, and then I explained that spreadsheet over that footage. Which again may have been the wrong editing way to go there. But maybe not the classy content that Ready Player Will would be telling me I did a good job with. But hey y'all, I'm just doing my best out here. I'm just one fox in the world trying to make a living, and I'm doing the best that I can. Speaking of making a living though, oh my god. Speaking of making a living though, I do write fiction. You can either start with a series like this that is based inside of a simulated virtual reality kind of video game experience, that kind of environment, except that none of the characters realize that they're being simulated. There are no characters from the outside world. It is purely what happens in the game while you're away. But also, this book was written based on a tabletop campaign, based on kind of a platform that I designed myself. I designed the entire gaming experience. Probably could have taken a lot more notes from things like Pathfinder and D&D, but I just kind of said, fuck it, I know how to make a gaming system, I could do this. Ended up being a lot of math. A lot of these projects ended up being a lot of math. I wish I knew more coding so that I could automate the math parts a little bit better. But all that being said, I got some friends together to play through a campaign that was set in a world, and ended up writing a parallel book. Well, I was writing this book and another book that I don't think I have a copy of on me at the same time. The stories actually intertwine with each other, which is pretty cool. And then this is my more recent fiction. This is also a hardback. I thought that this cover art was cool enough to deserve a hardback. So you may notice the dreamlike quality of AI design here. This was 2023 Stable Diffusion, and I took so many prompts and so many different images, and I ended up cutting them into like these little stickers or pieces of an image, and then I stitched them all back together and arranged them kind of like a found art collage, intertwining them and even in-painting in them to make some of it make a little bit more sense. And this is the result. I think it looks really freaking cool, despite some of its AI origins and some of its jank. But I think that jank kind of feeds into that weird dreamlike quality of it. Oh, nope. Last one's behind the computer. And then there's, While You Were at Brunch. I just got done editing this one. This is the sequel to It Even Happens While We Sleep. And if you're looking for more like a realistic fiction romp through a politically charged world, this probably isn't a good book for Derp Frog. Derp Frog specifically. I don't think you're going to like this one. Rosie! Will you calm down? Okay. Look. Dog's getting a little out of hand, so I gotta say, thank you for watching. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one.